So I'm here to talk about the MagSafe charger. So folks who are blind or visually impaired, I'm totally blind, you may not know or kind of understand what the MagSafe charger looks like. So I'm going to kind of describe it and then show it in use. So out of the box, I'm going to hold it up to the camera here for folks who have some sight. So full disclosure here, I'm using my iMac and just my FaceTime camera. It's nothing pretty, but I just wanted to kind of get this video out there and demo it for those who may have some questions. So so it's basically a puck that literally just sort of sits in the side, like in my palm. I would say average hands. It's not very big. If you guys have like an Echo Tap or something, it kind of reminds me of the base of that. That if it were flat. If you don't have that, it would kind of be, I would say, um, if you kind of stretch out your fingers are definitely going to be bigger than this base. So it's not like huge or anything. It is bigger than like the Apple Watch charger. So it's probably, I would say, three Apple Watch pucks if you were to put them together roughly. So on one side you have a rubber finish, and that is actually the part where the magnets are going to attach to your phone. On the back, it's a metal attachment here. So we actually get a new sound with iOS. So I'm going to bring my phone up here and I'm going to attach it to the back. And we get the little boom, and then it's a sound. It's kind of nice. If you try to like take two fingers and separate it, it's very strong. Like, I mean, I would have to use a lot of force. Now, if you take two fingers and just sort of slide it to the left, right, or down, because the camera is above it, so you don't want to necessarily go above, to the camera. But if you just go left or right or down, it slides off very, very simply. So I'm going to attach it one more time. If I don't drop it, kill things here. Okay, we're gonna attach it one more time here. There we go. And as you can tell, there's a really satisfying click. So if I touch on the bottom part here, it doesn't really like go into place. It just sort of lays there. It does, have a little bit of pull at the bottom, but as you just sort of move it, it then definitely has a pull where it's supposed to sit. The thing I kind of like about the MagSafe charger, there's a lot of press out there on, does it charge fast? Does it, are you getting the full 15 watts? I don't know that I really care about that, because I'm not, if I want to do fast charging, I'm going to actually use my USB-C to Lightning cable and use it, in those times I need fast charging. What I want for this is the fact that because it has the magnets and it's aligning itself correctly, you're going to get that great positioning every time. So if I wake up in the middle of the night and I want to check the time, and I, just bring it over to me, or move the phone off the MagSafe charger, getting it back on, I can pretty much do one-handed. So I mean, if it's in my hand like this, say my hand is the nightstand, I'm bringing my phone, I lay it down, it just goes on there, and we're charging. There's no chance of misaligning that. So I haven't had it very long. So I mean, there may be some flaws in my thinking, but overall, I mean, the last few hours I've had it, it's been pretty nice. I'm using a battery bank here because I wanted to see, is that going to still be able to charge it? Like, say, because one of the benefits I see with this is because you don't have so when I'm using a battery bank like in my chair, the lightning kind of sticks out from the bottom. So if you're, using it like voiceover and you kind of got it against your stomach, it's a little uncomfortable. But with this MagSafe, I can take the puck and sort of spin it to a side. So if I want the cable maybe going to the right hand side where my fingers aren't, I could do that. Or I could even spin it to where it's facing the camera and completely get it out of my way. And it's kind of nice because you're not necessarily locked into having it be in one necessarily position. So I got it at the top of the phone. So when I'm holding it here at the bottom, doing my home gesture, to swiping up and go to home, it's actually not even in my way. I can feel the puck against my hand, like the metal, but it's really not bothering how I'm doing gestures or, holding the phone maybe towards my chest, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and separate it here. So on one end we got the puck, on the other end is USB-C. It does get fairly warm in use. I've used it to charge AirPods and I've used it to charge the phone because I wanted to see how that would all work. And it works relatively well. Um, I'm actually pretty satisfied with it. Like I said, if you're wanting the ultimately the fastest charge, this isn't the way to go. But if you're just wanting like a convenient, foolproof way to know, I'll never forget, I had us blind folks, we rely on these phones for so many things, such as GPS and GPS, light detectors, money readers, etc., book readers. So I had to go for a job interview one day, and I woke up and I had my phone on the wireless charger, and I must have bumped it off trying to check the time. And I got up and my phone was at like 30%. And it's like, well, now I got to really use this thing conservatively through the day, to get to my interview using the GPS. That's going to take a lot more battery as well. So I really, all jokes about MagSafe aside, I'm really happy this thing has come out because it makes life a little bit easier and knowing that you're going to get the full charge every time. So I hope this answers some of your questions. It's very light, because it's a puck and the cable. You can pack this thing fairly easily. It does not come with a charging brick, so again, you'd have to buy a charging brick, and there's a lot of controversy surrounding that. I guess if you want the best charging percentage, you would get the Anchor Nano brick or the Apple 20-watt brick. Everything else, it's just going to be dependent on the current and the delivery system that it's using. So I mean, if charging speed isn't a big deal to you, I have an Anchor 40-watt that divides. It's got two USB-C plugs on it and divides it by two. It probably isn't going to give me fast charging because it doesn't support that new standard. However, I don't necessarily care about that. I did have my phone at 85% when I plugged it in. It was at 100% within about 40 minutes. So, overnight it's going to charge just fine. The AirPods, so some people might ask, does the magnet work on other things? The AirPods, I think, has a little metal latch on the back of the case. So it did sort of magnetize a little bit. It stuck a little bit, but ultimately for other devices, it's just going to feel like a normal Qi mat, so to speak. So you're going to still have to sort of line it up. Unfortunately for the blind folks out there, when you're wirelessly charging some of these devices, such as headphones, such as, AirPods, speakers, sometimes you don't get an audible tone to know if it's charging. You get the lights, but I mean, that doesn't really help us. So that issue is still there, unfortunately. Like when I put my AirPods on the thing, other than checking Siri's battery component or on the iOS, the widget, there really was no way to know if it actually was charging. So I wish devices actually had some way to audibly tell you or use some sort of haptic feedback, especially when you step outside the realm of cell phones. But we got what we got. So I hope you enjoyed this review. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will respond. Take care.